Hey there, Dr. Ashton Mack, owner of Ashton Mack Performance and Rehab and Hudson River Fitness. Today I'm going to talk to you about one of my favorite stretches, which is called the frog stretch. And there are two variations that I'm a huge fan of using. Now, the frog stretch is actually something that you probably see at the gyms, and it's a really great way to address the hip joint, where we're addressing both hip flexion and in some cases either external rotation or internal rotation. Rotation in both directions are also really important when it comes to normal function in your hips, and then that way you have a reduction in your pain, but then also a reduction in your back pain as well. And so this is how it's going to be set up, and this is a pretty sensitive position and a pretty vulnerable position. So when people come and do this type of stretch, I tell them to just have their butt facing against the wall, and you'll see what I mean in a second. What I like to do is I like to grab two ab mats or two pillows, or even if you'd like, you can do this on, say, a yoga mat. You're gonna place both knees on the ab mats themselves, so then that way you can let them just kind of relax and chill. And then when we're gonna be addressing what we call internal rotation, we're actually gonna let our feet flare out a little bit. Once I get into this position, I wanna bring my hands down to the floor. I'm gonna have some pretty strong shoulders, and I'm just gonna go ahead and rock my hips back. What you're gonna end up feeling is a little tension right in the crease of your hip. And this should start to resolve a little bit as you kind of pulse back for about 15 to 20 repetitions, more or less depending on what you're really looking for. Another option is if you wanna do external rotation of the hip, is where you end up pulling those feet in, bringing the hands back down, and again, sending the butt back as far as you can. In this plane of motion, you can also separate those knees a little bit more to add a little bit more of what we call hip abduction. And especially if your hips are very, very tight, this could be a very beneficial and useful tool for you guys to use. And so I'm gonna show you from a different angle. I'm actually not gonna have my butt facing the camera, but I'm gonna show you from the side of what this looks like and how this can have a huge impact when it comes to your pain and also your range of motion. You're gonna place two ab mats apart just like you did before. Each knee is going to be on the ab mat. Your hands are on the ground. You're gonna either turn your feet out or turn your feet in, and then push your butt back as far as you can. Be careful that there's not any sort of extra movement at the back, because any sort of extra movement at the back will result in a reduction of movement that happens at the level of the hip. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna plant your hands onto the floor, lock your hips in place, and then from here you're gonna rock your hips back for about 20, 25 repetitions, depending on what your body prefers. Now this is gonna be a really helpful tool for those who are experiencing deep hip pain, but then also for those who are experiencing some limitations when it comes to squatting as well. And if you're having issues with squatting, it can lead to an entirely other slew of problems, which includes back pain, knee pain. And so go ahead and try that out and see how that impacts how you feel. And if it doesn't work, that's okay, it's not the end of the world. If that's the case, I highly suggest that you book an intro call with myself or another healthcare practitioner, so that way we can provide a solution that works best for you. So go ahead and give it a try, and I hope you like it.